Hey, welcome back to another Moralis video. My name is Bharat, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how you can leverage Moralis token pairs API in order to build your own crypto arbitrage tracker. So let's get started. So this is what we're going to be building in today's tutorial, and as you can see right here, this is like a crypto arbitrage tracker that lets you paste in a contract's token address, and you can also put in like the chain, and it's going to find out like what arbitrage opportunities exist for this particular token. So what I've used here is actually the Fox token, and it shows you like the arbitrage opportunities are available for this particular pool, and it shows you like which exchanges you can arbitrage. So you can see like the highest price exchange is Uniswap V2, and another exchange where the price is lowest is Uniswap V3. It shows you like the price data and also the liquidity data along with the price difference and the pair addresses for each of them. So I'm going to show you how you can build this using Moralis and what API we exactly use for getting this kind of token pair data. So what you can do is if you want to actually test this out for some other token, you could just head to moralis.com where you can see like all the trending crypto tokens, and you can just pick up like a random token from this. So I'm going to pick TG Casino because it seems to be trending. And if you can see the page here, it shows you like all the data about the charts, the price, etc. And all we need to actually look up arbitrage opportunities for this token is the token address. So I'm just going to take that, come back here, paste the address, and let's click find. There we go. So you can see right now that it found out an arbitrage opportunity in Uniswap V3 and Uniswap V2. You can basically see the prices on both these exchanges. You can also see the liquidity that's available on each of them and also the pair addresses. And you can see the price difference is actually like around 20 cents. So this is all coming from our Moralis token pairs API. And essentially, we get like even info about the liquidity, the pair address, etc. in that. So I'm going to show you now on how you can exactly integrate the API and what like params you need to pass to actually get like this data from the API. So for doing that, what you can do is you can just head to Moralis devs docs. So you can just click on public API docs, and that's going to take you to Moralis for devs. And as you can see right here, Moralis for devs is the crypto data platform. So if you're a dev building any sort of Web3 application, you have like all kinds of data you need right here, whether it's token data, DeFi data, NFT data, or PC nodes. You get all of that right here, directly letting you leverage our APIs and reduce your time to market. So once you have like come to here, this platform, you can just click on login, and that's going to take you to your Moralis dashboard. So your dashboard is like your single source of truth. So if you want to see like the compute unit usage, API key, documentation, tutorials, you have everything you need right here. And for this tutorial, what you need is basically a Moralis API key, which you can get like right after you sign up. And you can just copy that and you can head to our documentation. So just click on explore docs, and as you can see right here, our documentation is available at docs.moralis.com. So once you're here, you can see like what other APIs are available. Like we have the wallet API for getting like data about your wallet, NFT API for getting like all kinds of NFT data, whether it's NFT transfers, prices, metadata, etc. Token API, which is related to ERC20 tokens. Streams is pretty cool because you can like listen to real time events on the blockchain and actually be notified whenever there is some sort of action happening on chain. Then you have market insights, and you can also get like blockchain stats related to transactions, log data, etc. So for our tutorial, you can head into the token API and go into token pairs and liquidity. So here you can see like we have two endpoints related to token pairs and token pair stats. So this is what we actually require for our tutorial. So if you go into the get token pairs, you can see you will basically get the supported pairs for a specific token address. So if you want to try this API out, what you can do is you can just take your API key from here, paste your API key right here, and you also need a token address that you want to look up the token pairs for. So for that, I'm just gonna let's take the TGC address, and let's basically put that right here. You can again select between whichever chains you want. Our tokens on ETH, as you can see right here. So I'm just going to keep it on ETH, and now let's hit test live API. There we go. So you can see the response that's coming from this right here. You can see like the pairs which are available along with the exchange address, the exchange name, the exchange logo as well. So if you're building like a DeFi tracker, or if you want to track like all the token pairs for any token, you get like all this data in just one call. So you basically get like the pair label, you get the pair address, you get like the price, which is all in real time. So you can also get like the USD price, 24-hour percent change, liquidity that's available in this particular pool. And you can also see like the base token and code token. So since this pair is between TGC and WETH, the base token is TGC and the code token is WETH. So that's what you see right here. And you get the exchange address, exchange logo as well. So this is also pretty cool because you get all of this data, and this is basically it. If you're building like a UI that's going to show like all the token pairs, and like you want to show some data and do operations on it, you can just integrate this. And what we're actually going to do for building our application is we actually need to find out what are the token pairs where we have like a huge price difference. So the price USD field you see right here, that's actually what is going to be useful for us. We're going to look up like the all the pairs for like a given pair label, and then you're going to see what has the highest price difference between any two pairs, and that's going to give you like a arbitrage opportunity. So if you want to start building this particular UI, and let's head into the logic for like writing the arbitrage function, etc. What you can do is you can just follow along with me, or you could open up uh, or you could just open up and clone this particular repo to get started. So you can basically access this link. I'm going to leave this on the description, and as you can see right here, you just need to follow these steps to get started. You can clone the repo, cd into the front end repo, install the dependencies, follow the env example, and just create a .env and take your env API key and paste it into the env from there. And that's basically it. You can do npm start and you'll be able to run the app. So if you want to build this from scratch, you can just follow along. And what we'll do is, let me just create the tutorial. Okay, one second. Okay, once we have that here, I'm just going to use create react app to actually set up the react app based on the template. So I'm just going to do that. So let's wait for this to complete. Yep, there we go. It's basically set up. So now we have like the React app set up, and if you like go into the front end repository, you can see like all the files we need is right here. So you need to set up some dependencies for actually having this app running. So what you can do is you can just install the .en. Okay, you don't need .env. You need React select because we are going to use the selection drop down. We're going to use that component for getting the selection. So you can just install React select. Let's wait for this to complete. Yep, that's basically it. And now I'm going to open this up on my code editor. Okay, so I'm just going to open this right here. And there we go. Cool. So once we have everything open right here, you have the code structure over here, everything you need. And you can just create like a .env file over here. And let's put in our Moralis API key here. So you need to create it based on React underscore app underscore, and then put Moralis API key. And now you can just paste your API key, which you get like from the platform itself. So I'm just going to make this full screen and go back here. Once you're here, just take the API key. That's it. Yep. So once I've done that, let's basically check it out. There we go. We can basically go into the src and then go into app.js, and this is what we're going to modify in order to actually build this. So you can just do npm start to have this running. Okay, cool. So we have this running right here. And what we can do now is we can just start editing this particular thing. So for this, what we'll do is let's just remove all of this, and just gonna keep this particular thing. And now let's start building our UI. So if you look at what's actually needed, we need to have a field to capture the user's address. So I'm just gonna create a state variable for that. So let's do that right here. There we go. So this is going to capture the token address of the user. We also need a field to capture the network through this drop down. So I'm going to get that as well because these two are required when we want to make the API call. Done. So the next thing is to actually just define the networks. So possible networks. So for that, let's actually just create a networks array and let's put it right here. So if you look at it, what are the fields? The value field is actually going to represent what's passed along to the API, because if you look at the API docs, you can see the chain is basically ETH, Sepolia. You have a specific format. So if you want to have that defined, you want to put it into the value. So I'm going to have that here, and I'm going to have like the label that's shown as Ethereum. So essentially, this is like just going to determine the networks that's showing up on the drop down. And next thing what you can do is you can just create like a h1. Yep. And let's call this crypto arbitrage tracker. That's basically it. And you can basically create the input now. So I'm just gonna take this from here, and 1 second. Yep. So you can see that I've created a div, and within the div I have the input and I have the select option right here. So just close the div. Yep. So now that you have this input created, what's going to happen is it's going to take the token address, well, the input to capture the token address, and you have to select the network. So the drop downs again going to select from the networks. So we have networks right here. So that's what's happening, and set network is actually called to set the network. So if you go back to our app now, it should be okay. We need to import your state. So let's just do that. Yep. Now that we have it, let's also input select. So I'm just gonna do that as well. There we go. Cool. So now you can see you can paste in the token address right here, and you can select your network from this drop down. Now that we have these two things in place, the next step would be to actually make the API call, or like to actually get the token pair data. So what we'll do now is let's create like a button so that we can call that API when someone clicks the find arbitrage opportunities. So I'm going to put that right below this. There we go. So if you can see this, we have a button. Right now it's disabled based on like whether the user has put in a token address or not. So if you've done this and this, you can see it gets enabled. So now what we'll do is the next step is to create the function for generate getting the token arbitrage opportunities. So I'm just gonna do that by creating it right here. Okay, so now we have the function. Now what this actually has to do is it has to make an API call to Moralis. So we're gonna have the uh, thing within a try catch block. I'm just gonna console error in case there's any errors. And there we go. Within the try catch, now we can make the API call. We can use fetch in order to make the API call. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna read the API key from the env. So we need to make this async because it's making an API call. Now that's done. You can see the URL right here. It's the endpoint that it needs to hit is basically what you see right here, deep index slash token address slash pairs. So you can basically see that we have put in the URL correctly here, and token address is reading from the state variable, same as network. You have the response defined over here as well. So now if you want to actually add like a loader as well, we could even do that. So what to actually add a loader, what we need to do is we just need to create the loader field. So what we'll do now is let's just create that. So I'm just gonna put in like the loading state and the loading text as well right here. So when the API call is being made, initially we want to set the loading to true. So let's just put this right here. So this is actually going to indicate it's loading, and let's also put some loading text. So the loading text is what we're showing over here while we're fetching it. So you can see we have fetching all token pair data. So you can just add some text right here. I'm just going to add the same, fetching all token pair data. Okay, now that we have the loader in place, let's continue writing our API for this. And over here, let's basically just um, ensure we convert the response to JSON. Once you've done that, the next thing is to let's actually just console log this and have a look whether we're getting this data. Okay, so now we also need to define that this function is called while the button is clicked. So we can do that again by just going to the button, setting the on click, and let's set it to fetch arbitrage opportunities. There we go. So now if we go and try it out, let's see. I'm gonna open up my console here and let's take, okay, we need to set the env. I'm just gonna ensure we did that. Yep, we did. So you can just take a token address. I'm gonna take the same one, TGC, select the network as Ethereum, find arbitrage opportunities. There we go. We got the response. So you can see the response basically shows us like the page size, and pairs. Pairs basically contains the exchange address, exchange name, exchange logo, liquidity, pair address, all of that data we need. So now if we want to start like showing this data in our UI, we need to just add some more divs to showcase that. So what we'll do now is once we have gotten this data after we made this API call, let's actually set it into the relevant state variables. So I'm going to set all the token pairs. I'm going to create like a state variable for holding all the token pairs. So let's do that. And as soon as we get this, we need data.pairs actually. If you look at the response, everything comes within the pairs object. So let's basically set token pairs, set all token pairs with data.pairs. Okay, once you have done that, you would have set all of the pair data. And what you can do now is we've basically fetched all the token pair data. The next step is to actually find the arbitrage. So I'm going to change the loading text now. And after we got the data, we're just going to say finding arbitrage opportunities. Okay, now that we've said this is the loading text, now comes the logic where we actually find the arbitrage opportunities. So if you look at the response, that's going to help us to actually understand how we could find the arbitrage opportunities. I'm just going to copy the address again over here, put this, yep, we have it right here. That's it. I'm going to take the curl command and let's look at this in our terminal. There we go. So if you look at the fields, right, you can see like all the data we need is within pairs, and we need to actually access the pair label field because you want to find out two entries in this array which have the same pair label but have a different USD price. So we're going to first create like a mapping between all pair labels and the actual pair itself. So you want to create that mapping so that we can iterate through that and actually find some opportunity. So once you have like set the loading text right here, the next step is to actually create the mapping. So I'm going to do that now. call this group by pair. And for this, what we need to do is we need to like iterate through all the pairs. So for that, you could just like create a for loop that's going to go through all of the pairs. So what you see right here is, let's set this as well, const pairs. Let's create a variable right here, equals data dot pairs, and let's actually just set pairs here. That's it. So now we can access the pairs variable. So once you've had that right here, we need to actually iterate through this, and let's first ensure that the pair has an exchange existing. So you want to see that whether the exchange name and exchange address is present. So I'm just going to put pair dot exchange name over here. Once you have done that, here what you actually need to do is you need to put it into the group by pair. So for this, let's first extract the pair label. So I'll just fix this. Pair dot, if you look at the field name in the response, it's pair label right here. So just put in pair dot pair label right here. We got the pair label now. And the next step is to actually add this to our mapping. So what I'm going to do now is essentially, if our if it's not added to the if the mapping does not exist, we're going to create that mapping to an empty array. And if it does exist, then you're going to just add it by pushing it into that array. So that's what we're doing right here. And let's basically, I think we have an extra bracket. Yep. So now that we have it all set right here, the next step is to actually iterate through this group by pairs to find out opportunities. So I'm going to create like a array called opportunities. And we also need to create like a state variable because we want to track all the opportunities in our UI. So I'm going to add another state variable that just says arbitrage opportunities. Cool. So now that we have that already set, the next step is to just find out the opportunities. And the way you can find it is actually by sorting all of the pairs within the pair within a given pair label, and finding out like the pairs which have the highest difference in the USD price. So let's actually just sort out the opportunities. So for that, what you could do is you can just we need to create like a for loop again to iterate through all of the pair labels. So let's just call this and group by pair. Once you have done that, we're going to essentially loop through all of the pair labels. And for each pair label, what you want to do is you want to sort out all of the pairs within it. So you could actually find out what exchanges are present. So I'm just going to call this, I'm going to reference the group by pair mapping. So group by pair mapping, and let's put pair label right here. Yep. So this is actually going to return us all the exchanges. And now what we need to do is we need to sort this particular array of pairs within a given pair label. So for sorting this, I'm just going to look at the USD price and compare that, and going to sort it descending. So that's what we're doing right here. So once that is basically sorted, then you can basically get the arbitrage opportunity. So if the exchanges dot length is greater than 2, which means that there exists an arbitrage opportunity, then we need to just set all of the variables. So I'm going to copy this right here, and as you can see, we're going to take the highest price exchange. Since we started it descending, the first one's going to be the highest priced, and the lowest one's going to be the last one's going to be the lowest priced. You can find the price difference by just subtracting those values, and we're going to push it into the opportunities array. And what we're going to push is actually the pair label, the highest price exchange, lowest price exchange, and the price difference. So if there are more than two opportunities, you're going to get that as well. So once you've pushed all of that, we need to set this arbitrage opportunities in the state. So let's just call this, and let's call it with opportunities. There we go. Now that we have set it, now let's actually just console log this and actually verify. And now I'm going to go back here and paste the token address again. Okay, select network, find. There we go. We got the opportunity right here. We found one for TGCWH. We got the highest price exchange, lowest price, pair label, and the price difference. So you got all of that data right here now. So the next step is to actually, let's say, show all of that data in this UI. So for doing that, what you could do is you can just return everything within our, if you go back to our HTML, you can see it right here. What we're actually returning now is just these things. So now we're gonna return the remaining things. So I'm gonna add the loader, which is going to return the loading text only when it's looking searching for the arbitrage opportunities or when it's loading. So this is going to be there. So if you look now and let's refresh this, let's put in the this token address. So right here, there we go. So there you go. You can see like this comes up right here when we're searching. We need to add the loader as well. So for that, let's actually see what we need to do. We need to add some CSS files. So I'm just going to create the app.css and I'm going to copy paste the CSS which I've already created. Once we have done that, let's just go back here. There you go. So you can see like the UI has gotten a lot better now, and we have the spinner as well. So now let's go back over here and let's see what's the next step. So the next step is to actually display the arbitrage opportunities. So I'm just going to copy all of this along with the token pairs, and I'm going to put this right here. Okay, cool. So if you look at the code now, what's actually happening is we're getting all of the arbitrage opportunities and we're basically showing all of them as cards. So each card basically contains the data about the highest priced exchange, the price, the liquidity, and pair address. And for all the other pairs, you're again also showing the data as well. So you can see the exchange, you can see the price, you can see the liquidity and pair addresses as well. So we need to define a function for getting the block explorer URL, because if you're supporting multiple networks, then you need to have the multiple block explorer URLs in place. So I'm going to just have a function that returns the block explorer URL based on whatever chain it is. That's what you see right here. Based on the chain, you get the base URL of the explorer. And let's also add all the networks to our array over here. So I'm just going to put that here as well. So now you can see we have all the networks within this, and we also have the spinner. You have the token address which you can enter now. So what we'll do now is let's actually see our code again, and you can see the token pairs is going to return all this data. It's going to return the block explorer URL. It's going to return the exchange name, the price, the liquidity, and pair address. So if you try a contract address now, and let's select the network as Ethereum, find, now you'll be able to see all of the cards which will show up. So let's wait for this. Okay, I think there seems to be an issue. Let's see what it is. And looks like there was some issue with the incorrect CSS file. Now that it's all fixed, we basically have the arbitrage tracker app running. So if we go back to our code base right here, you can basically see like this is where all the token pairs are being rendered, and then you have like the block explorer URL which is being fetched from that, and you can see all the exchange name, the price, liquidity data. So that's essentially how you can leverage Moralis token pairs API to build your own crypto arbitrage tracker. And if you want to verify this again, you can just paste in a contract address, select the network, and then when you click on find arbitrage opportunities, you can basically see all of that pairs right here. So you get like all the pair data. You also get the highest price difference arbitrage opportunity. So that's essentially how you can use Moralis token pairs API to build your own crypto arbitrage tracker. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to drop your comments on the chat and reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.